very much. First, I consider it an honor, the opportunity given me to say something about Otumfour, some of the Otumfour Developmental Projects. Over the past 25 years. 25 years is a significant milestone in a life. For Otumfour, it's been a celebration of a vision and unwavering commitment. When Otumfour was, I think in 1999, when he was installed as Otumfour, he laid down his vision for the development of Asante and beyond. And he actually urged Nananom to use chieftaincy to propel development in their various communities. Since that time, he's undertaken several projects. I think one of the most important projects that he's taken is the Otumfour Educational Fund. Through that fund, he was able to support several pupils and students who otherwise would have been out of the educational system. Later on, he expanded development projects to include sanitation, environmental protection, food security, and health. In fact, just 2-3 months ago, I think this project on Hill Komfanochi is one classical project that he undertook. What most people don't know is his effort to scale employment and industrialize the local economy. I think in just 1 year after his enthronement, he set up what they call the Bodukwan Holding Company. This company started as a tree plantation enterprise, but it's now grown into 3 independent subsidiary companies: the Bodukwan Farms, the Bodukwan Multi-Fruit Processing, and the Bodukwan Jute Factory. The Bodukwan Farms operates about 5 distinct farms. There's a Bodukwan Teak Plantation, which is near Drobonso in the Afram Plains. That is about 420-acre teak plant, 640 teak plantation. Last year, I think we got a company to do enumeration of the stand, and they recorded as many as 220,000 standing trees. An estimated volume was about 78,000 cubic meters. So that is a huge carbon sink. Then Otumfour also has an oil palm plantation at Ofuasi in Asante Achim district. This plantation has been existent for quite a while. It's actually, we established it with what they call the Tanera hybrid. And that hybrid is a very prolific and start bearing fruits in 3 years. Next to the oil palm ranch, oil palm is a cattle ranch, which is, I think the last time we recorded, we had as many as 30, and a few of them were also pregnant. So I expect that by the time I visit next time, we'll have a lot more than the number that we counted the previous time. Then in 2011, Otumfour established the mango farm. The mango farm is in a place called Bonte in Nkranza North District of Bono East. This is a 420-acre mango farm. It's Global Gap certified, and we established it with 2 varieties of mango, the Keat and Kent. We expect to expand that farm to probably about 1,000 acres in the near future. The sandy loam soil and rainfall averaging about 1,300 millimeters is very good for mango cultivation. So that is the mango farm. Then last year, we organized ourselves through support that we had from USAID. We started a pineapple outgrower system where we've been able to get as many as 250 outgrowers within Ashanti region. Previously, we were going as far as Volta region, Central region, Eastern region to source mango for the factory. But we felt that the transportation costs and also for the fact that sometimes it's very difficult to compete with others. So we started our own outgrower system. And last year alone, 2023, we've been able to establish a little over 120 acres of pineapple. Through that, we expect to harvest about 3,600 metric tons of pineapple. And that will take care of our shortfall in fruit supply to the multi-fruit processing plants. Last year again, we also established a 30-acre kenaf farm. Kenaf is the raw material for the jute bags, so that 30 acres is just supposed to be a pilot farm because what we're trying to do is to use it as a seed multiplication farm and also to determine the quality of the fiber. Then we also have what we call a greenhouse farm. We have 5 greenhouse tunnels in a 2-acre farm very close to this place. And what we're doing is that we're trying to raise tomatoes and some vegetables using the greenhouse technology. Tomato is one of the commonest greenhouse crops, and we want to deploy that technology to continue cultivating tomatoes. Within one tunnel, we can have as many as 1,000 seedlings, and that could give us about 6 to 8 metric tons of tomatoes. So these are the farms. If I could move on to the other company, the multi-fruit processing company. The multi-fruit company was jointly commissioned by the President, His Excellency Nana Addo Akufo-Addo, and His Royal Majesty Otumfour Developmental in December 2020. There are 2 major factors that triggered the discussion and decision to set up the processing plant. The first factor had to do with the fact that there's been a consistent growth in the fruit industry over the last 2 decades. In fact, the fruit industry globally is estimated to be worth about $560 billion annually. And the reason is quite simple, purely because there's the growing middle class in developing countries and countries in transition. And fruits are perhaps the healthiest food for humans. So when people get to that level, they will want to have access to something that is very nutritious. So the second factor that framed the decision to set up the factory had to do with the fact that our 420-acre mango farm, the off-takers are usually located around Accra and Sawam area. And there's also another mango zone, they call it Coastal Savannah Mango Zone, Dodowa, Somenya, Adan. So ordinarily, it makes business sense for the companies to go there to source their mango. So by the time they get to us up north, most of our mangoes are overripe. And when mango get overripe, they become very susceptible to diseases and pests. So we're recording considerable post-harvest losses. So Otumfour took the bold decision that, look, why don't we set up our own factory so that we don't have to wait for somebody to come and buy our mangoes, so that as soon as we harvest our mango, we can take it to the factory, process it. So that is how this particular factory was established. That was in 2020. It's a 3 ton per hour factory. So in other words, we can process about, every hour we can process 3 tons of material. So within an 8-hour shift, we can process about 24 metric tons of fruits. But we want to transit to maybe 2 or 3 shifts. If we transit to 2 shifts, we will require about 48 metric tons of fruits. And if we are doing 3 shifts, then we will require about 72 metric tons of fruits. That is very substantial. So I think that we need to be able to up our game, how we're going to be able to have adequate raw material to feed. So the issue about setting up the outgrower system was partly to address that issue. You know, we've also, apart from the pineapple outgrower system, we've also have a mango outgrower system, and we are working with mango associations in Techimai, Nkranza, and Wenchi. So through this association, we've supplied them with a lot of goodies, and so we think that they should be able. So for the pineapple, last year, we supplied about 2.4 million pineapple suckers free of charge to all the participating farmers. Not only that, we also gave them, gloves and knapsack so that they could use it to apply insecticide and also fertilizers. And the only responsibility is that at harvest time, they have to sell everything to Bodokwai, so that we'll have enough adequate, raw material to feed our farm. So that is the situation with the multi-fruit. Currently, I think when the factory was set up, it was set up to process concentrates, fruit concentrate. And fruit concentrates usually have a limited market. If somebody has to come and buy the concentrate, reconstitute it into a juice. So what the decision Otumfour has taken is that he's actually imported a blending line. So within the next couple of weeks, we expect to install blending lines so that we can go into juice production ourselves. Apart from the juice production, we're also considering, producing dry fruits. So we brought in a dehydrator. You might have seen that there's some construction work going on up there. So that's going to house the dehydrator. So we're going to come, apart from the fruit concentrate and fruit juice, we're also going to come out with dry fruits, dry mango, dry pineapple, dry whatever. So I expect that by the close of this year, you will see a lot of these products on the market. Now, if I could move on to the jute factory. You see, since the Kumasi jute factory collapsed in 1991, the jute factory was commissioned in 1963, the Kumasi jute factory, by 1991 has collapsed. And since then, every year, Cocoa Board imports jute bags to the tune of about $40 million every year, from 1991 up to every year, to back the cocoa sacks. So Ohene felt that why should Ghana should be taking out so much money going out, foreign exchange going out. So if we could set up our own jute factory in Kumasi, we may be able to at least reduce the movement of foreign exchange. So we set up, the jute factory will be commissioned probably during the second quarter of this year. All the machines have been installed, as many as 215 machines, made up of spreaders, made up of carding machines, drawing machines, spinning machines, looms, and all that. Everything has been installed. I think that when they were bringing the machines, a few consignments, small parts didn't come up. That is why we have installed about 95%. So we've asked the company to bring in those parts that didn't come with the first lot. We expect to get this passed before the end of, probably before end of March. So if this part come in, we'll be able to install the other machines, that we will have full installation. Then we can move on into what they call the test trials or test runs. So we expect to have test runs around April, May, and then subsequently we could go into full operation. So we're going to produce juice sacks, but juice sacks is not only for cocoa board, because as you are aware, it's for storage, transportation, and other things, and you can, cashew farmers require it, onion farmers, maize farmers, so it has a huge market along the West Coast. So we believe that when we move into full operation, we will not be only serving cocoa board, but we'll also be supporting some of the farmers in transportation and storage of their foods. So essentially, these are the 3 projects Otumfour has carried out. But for me, what is most important is that most of these projects contribute to the achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals, the SDGs. If you pick the SDG 1, which is eradication of poverty, Otumfour support for the peoples, I mean, under the educational fund, it was supporting a lot of students to continue in school. And you know, education is the surest way to deal with poverty. So under, SDG 1 has been, SDG 2 largely deals with food security and nutrition. And obviously, the oil palm farm, the mango farm, the pineapple farm, the cattle ranch will be making substantial contribution to food security. So that is another contribution. SG3 is health. And then, the Hill Komfanochi project is a very important project in health sector. Not only that, even the fruits, mango, pineapple, are very nutritious foods, so they contribute to health. SDG 4 is an education, inclusive education. And, one of the things that, under the Otumfour Educational Fund, apart from supporting peoples, there was also 100 teachers who were accepting posting to, deprived areas and communities. And we believe that this gesture would also encourage other teachers to take posting into rural communities. And through that effort, we may be able to raise the quality of education in the country. So that is SDG 5 is gender equality. And one of the things that we've been doing with our pineapple agro farmers is that we've identified some what they call the LEAP household. LEAP is livelihood empowerment against poverty, and it's Ghana government's project that supports the poorest among the poor in communities. So in our grower system, in every community that we go, we look for LEAP household and we invite them to come and join this particular project. So through this project, we're hoping that we will be able to lift some of them from that level to another level. Then SDG 8 is productive employment, and obviously all the farms, all the factories are providing jobs for all people. SDG 9 is sustainable industrialization, and of course these 2 industries will support that. SDG 13 is climate change, and the teak plantation over there is a huge carbon sink because it will sequester carbon dioxide so clearly, and that's mitigation of, so the teak plantation is also contributing towards achievement of SDG 13. The same teak plantation was established on an abandoned agricultural land. So it falls and links clearly with Forestry Commission initiative on Greening Ghana initiative. It also has something to do with sustainable forest management. So again, we are using the teak plantation to contribute towards achievement of SDG 15. Then SDG 17 is partnership in development. And we are working with a series of people. We are working with growers. We are working with USAID. We are working with one district, one factory, So through this development, we have a lot of people who are collaborating with us. So that one will also contribute to the achievement of SDG 17. So through these projects, Otumfour is making some substantial contribution to achievement of 10 out of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. And I think that is very credible. And that's something that one can, be proud of. Because at the end of the day, everything that we do should relate to one of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. And if through his project is contributing to 10 out of the 17, that to me is substantial. For the jute factory, which will be commissioned, I think that on paper, we haven't started, but on paper, we expect to employ about 1,500 people. And that, for me, only one factory. That's because jute factory is huge. If you knew about the Kumasi jute factory, there were about 2,000 people, workers over there when it was operating fully. The multi-fruit here, currently we've been doing one shift, so we have only about 50 staff, but we intend moving into 3 shifts. And so when we move into, we're going to have close to 140 people working here. Then if you go to all the farms, every farm you have series of workers, laborers, supervisors, and technicians also working there. But beyond that, if you look at the grower system, even though we are not employing directly, through our linkages, they are able to make a livelihood. So I think that is putting numbers. At this point in time, I may not be able to give you, strict numbers, but looking at the series of, development projects that are going on, the 2 factories and the farms and everything, there's clearly, I think that Otumfour is making substantial contribution to the local economy and employment.